Hello, my name is Tommy Manning. I'm 29 years old. Grew up mostly in Trinity. I'll tell you a little bit about my background and stuff. I got 6 brothers, 7 sisters, second youngest. I just moved here a couple years ago. I was mostly raised in Thunder Bay. I spent a lot of my time. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I spent a lot of my time in foster care systems and group homes, treatment centers and stuff. But I'm part of that millennium scoop where they took the children away from their mothers and they kept them even while their mothers were trying to get better. So I was passed around from group home to group home, foster home to foster home. 30 different homes. It created an effect where I got stuck in a cycle where I carried that trauma that my mother, my father passed down to me through their addiction, through their alcoholism, and it became a part of me, which I didn't know I was stuck in a cycle. I didn't know that. I didn't even know how to identify, how to even see that I was in a cycle. You don't even know that you're in that. You just think it's a daily part of life that you're going through. That you have to live like that because your parents are living like that. That's what your grandparents went through. That intergenerational effect is what's getting passed down to you. So you feel it. So all these homes that I've been in, it really took a toll on me. The abandonment, the discrimination, the hurt, the pain that I felt through these homes. I went through that sexual abuse, mental, physical, where they broke my body, mind, and spirit. They really broke me down as a child. A 5-year-old seen that as a child. And you start to think, maybe this is how I'm supposed to be treated. This is how it's supposed to be. So, getting sent from home to home, nobody wanted me, not bring me back to my parents. Nobody loved me like I should, like they should. It was very hard on me as a child. I started to turn really rebellious, where I didn't want to listen to anybody. I created a bubble where I didn't like anybody because I didn't want to feel abandoned anymore. So it turned from foster homes to me AWOLing, trying to get back my mother, from sending me to group homes so I wouldn't AWOL, but I would still run away and get back my mother. And my mother would get threatened that she will get charged, she will get in trouble if she knows where we're hiding. There was me and my siblings, my sister Stacy, Amy, and Leo. We all spent most of our times in these foster homes that were brutal to us, that really broke us down. And I spent a lot of time with my sister Amy in this foster home. And I would hear the abuse from her. I would hear what they were doing to her, what they were doing to me as a child. I knew it wasn't right, but I couldn't talk about it. And all like I said, that rebellious child came out. And that's where I was in these group homes and stuff. And when I finally got out of these group homes, then I started going into addictions and stuff, to get my mind away from that, to get my mind to ease all those moments. So I started using drugs at a young age, started drinking at a young age, started fighting, doing whatever I could, and it went from foster homes, group homes, to treatment centers. So here I am, in and out of treatment centers now, because I've got a drug habit from running away from all these cycles, these problems, these addictions, the mass mask this pain that was hurting me inside as a child. That child got hurt, and I never got to walk with it until now. So walk with it until now. So when those treatment centers came, I tried to find family. I tried to find love in all the wrong places. That's what I've been searching for my whole life. What's love? What's to be loved? What's to see love? And so I found it in all the wrong people, the wrong places, the wrong things. Gang violence, getting shot at, getting stabbed up, getting spent years in jail from it. It all just came from these intergenerational effects, and that's what it means to be stuck in the cycle. You're stuck. You keep going round and around and around, doing it over and over again. But the addictions was a big part. Alcoholism was a big part of it. I did not know how to socialize without a drink of that bottle. And I'm still learning how to socialize. I still got bad social anxiety, but I still get out there and do it. I want to talk more about my family and their addictions and how it's a big impact, how it's impacted me. So just a few years ago, I lost I lost my mother and my father 4 months apart. My dad was an alcoholic. His name was Tom Hannon. He was a bricklayer most of his life. And he was a kind man. But when he put that bottle in his hand, he was a pretty crazy guy. So he passed away from cirrhosis of the liver. He was in hospice for a few months, but he was 60 years old when he passed away. And then 4 months later, my mother used to shoot needles. So when my mother would shoot needle, she used a dirty needle, and it created a blood infection, and that blood infection affected her heart valve, and then the bacteria from the heart valve broke off and created a stroke. So she was sick. She was in that dying state she finally got to meet my daughter. And I've got the last picture of her where she's holding my daughter. So, I remember getting that call that my mom was in the hospital suffering from that stroke where the doctor, where they said that my mom was in a coma. She wasn't able to wake up because of that stroke. I had to watch my mother for 5 days. I think it was around there or whatever, but she, I remember all the family came in. We were standing around my mother, and me and my brother were little babies. We climbed up on the bed, and we laid by her side one last time. We got to hug my mother, and we would tell my mom that we love her. And while we told her we loved her, a tear rolled down her eye while she was in a coma. So I was mostly drunk every day I was there at that hospital. But I stayed with my mom, and I stayed with my mom's side. I stayed with her for her last breath. I slept in that room with her, with the ventilators going on. And hearing her breathing and gasping for air was the hardest thing to do. When I was ready, I told my mom, okay, Mom, and it's okay. I'm okay. We're okay. It's time to go. So, while I was walking down the hall, my aunt was coming to see my mom. And while I walked down that hallway, I came back to the waiting room, and my aunt said, "Your mother passed away." I said, "That's okay. That's okay." And I accepted that because I had time to accept that. But then, she's a very loving woman. Her name was Teresa Lee. Some called her Darlene. And you know that pain, that hurt that I felt from that trauma, those dreams I've had from that passing, it stayed with me for a while. I tried to fight it off, but I couldn't. I kept dreaming about it. I was hurt. I was hurt in my own mind, trying to get out of there. Only way I could do it was if I was smoking these drugs, or if I was smoking some coke, or if I was drinking, if I was blacking out. And I want to tell you about my sister Amy here. She was 29, 30. She was a big part of the neighborhood. We grew up in Limerick, Thunder Bay. And she started up a youth involvement, youth groups. She's a very beautiful, kind woman that would literally give you the shirt off your back. Her laugh was so loud. You could see her smile. She brightened up the room when she would walk in. The stories she shared, the knowledge she had, she was my best friend. She was everything, because we lived with each other, even through foster care. We went through that same thing. We went through that same hurt. We felt it. She didn't want to talk about it as much as I did. When she said, "I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear it. I don't even want you to mention it in my house, what I've been through, or even what you've been through." She didn't want to hear it. But she suppressed it a lot with drugs and drug use. Even though she was that mentor, that person that people looked up to, she got stuck in her own mind. That mind of hers became a cell. That was her jail. She was stuck in her own mind of the drugs, of the hurt, the pain that she tried to push to the ground. But let me tell you, we used to, so, where can I go with this? She lost her home, she lost a lot of things because of the drug use. But when she got into small drugs, the pills and stuff, the crack, the down is like heroin and fentanyl together. And one night we were hanging out with each other, and we're drinking, smoking crack, having fun, doing our thing, out in the caring world. She was staying at a treatment center, and she must have
I dropped her off at home, downtown, Fort William. Remember I dropped her off at home and she told me, don't go to City Hall because there's some guys there looking for you. Because I was a fighter, I was a gang member, I did a lot of that. I was that person. I wasn't a kind man. And people wanted to get at me for that. So when I walked home that night, I went to bed and I looked on Facebook that morning. And what do I have to see? I have to see someone on a stretcher in a picture at that building. That gave me fear, gave me anxiety. I didn't know what was going on. People were messaging me. My sister and my niece came to the house and they said, in my stairwell, I'm standing there like with my shorts and no shirt and I'm just waking up. And they said, Mommy, Amy passed away last night. Your sister passed away. And I just looked at them and I said, get the fuck out. Get out of here. I don't want you guys in here. Get out. I was hurt. I was angry. I sat in my room and I thought, what am I going to do now? So you know what? I was a bouncer at the time too. I was doing security where you were there off and on for a bar. And I went down to that bar and I went and drank. I didn't want to hear nobody's condolences. I didn't want to hear nothing. I was so angry. I was fighting. I was so angry at it. So, losing my best friend was the hardest thing. Especially seeing her for one last time, dropping her off at home. I still have siblings on the street. They are into the fentanyl, crack, name it, or do anything. But they weren't always like that. And like I said, it all stems from this trauma that we had passed down to us. The way that we had to grow up and how we had to bring our own selves up. We didn't want to grow up like that. It's just the way we've seen life. And just being on those streets was the hardest part. But being with people that were like me was what made me feel whole. That's that love that I found on the streets. But I found it at buildings where I find people passed out from overdoses, where you're walking by somebody getting Narcan like it's a normal day, where you're seeing drugs, guns, gangs all around you, where you go in and out of trap houses because that's where you felt at home. Might have been a trap house, it felt like a trap home with all the other people that were just like me. Yeah, I went from not living life to living life. I'm over 2 years sober, 2 years off of drugs. I am 7 months alcohol free. I decided to quit. I picked up singing traditional songs on the drum. I came here, actually I'll tell you, I came here 2 years ago to change my life, to run away from those problems I had at Leonard Day. But when I ran away, everything just followed me. Everything just came with me. All that hurt, that pain that I felt still, I tried to mush it down like I was okay, but I wasn't. I still brought on the drinking. I left the drugging behind, but I brought on the drinking. I was still drinking, I was hiding in it, closet, drinking on the weekend. people's places. I wasn't being the best dad because I was drinking and being and my daughter saw a lot of that, and I feel ashamed of it that she had to. But like I said, I didn't want to bring it. I had to deal with what was ever hurting inside of me. I'm still dealing with all that stuff. I'm still healing. I still have those trauma triggers. I still feel those effects from that. But I learned how to love myself as a man. I know what it's like to be an Anishinaabe man, but do I know what it's like to live as an Anishinaabe? So I'm on a healing journey still. I'm still trying to find that true self, identity that was lost as a child. And I'm doing that every day. And the greatest part about being able to have my daughter in my full-time care is that I get to walk with that child that got hurt. I get to have fun, play on the trampoline, go fishing, go swimming, take walks, take her for bike rides, do whatever she wants to do. Go play at the park like a kid, go swing on the swings. I get to heal that child that got hurt too, while I'm taking care of my daughter. And she's just a loving girl. Like, you look at her and she's just got a smile all the time, or something to say, or cranking you, or something. She's awesome. So I'm glad to have her in my life. And I recently just picked up I was gifted a regalia, so I recently just started dancing. I did my second powwow in my regalia this weekend at the reserve I call home. That's Red Gut. I'm from Couch, but I live in Red Gut. And I got to do it for the community. I got to dance. It felt great. It was something else for me. So singing and dancing has been a big part of this year. Just get alone. You feel that. Yes, I've lost a lot of my friends through me just getting sober, and through a lot of the deaths that occurred around me that happened. I could go more in depth, but be up here for a while. What do you call it? So I finished my grade 12. I went and got my driver's. I was in college for a bit too. I kind of dropped out. I don't want to break my back all these years, but I want to do BSW. I want to become a men's support worker where I can help other Anishinaabe men get through their traumas and to be able to have services, especially for men, and to see more shelters for men and their children. I was also on the streets with my daughter. That's where it came from, and a lot of this trauma that experiences that I went through. I believe I could be that person for Anishinaabe men. So I was like I said, I was almost on the streets. That's why I tried to go to different shelters, and they said, well, no, we only take women. And I said, what about men and children? Single men and their children. So I couldn't go nowhere, but I didn't have really nowhere to go. So when I came down here, my aunt, she's like my mother figure. She takes very good care of my daughter. She's like a grandmother to my daughter. And she really saved my life. Because if I stayed in that city, I would have been dead. I would have been gone, jail, something, back to jail, in and out. And I wanted to stop that cycle. So I'm here today. I'm talking on behalf of my parents and their parents, because I got to break that cycle that was created. So So my daughter doesn't have to go through all of this stuff that I had to go through. So I'm able to break that. And I am happy that I am that generation. So it starts with me, it starts with you, it starts with everybody. Just learn how to love yourself. That's the biggest step. That was my purpose in life, was love. My whole purpose was to love and be loved.